Welcome to the Hot Corner Show on the ISPS Radio Podcast Network with your host, Dr. Ray, the softball-playing chiropractor and the official chiropractor of ISPS, and Manuel T. Ferrero III, the commissioner of International Slow Pitch Softball. Listen to the Hot Corner Show every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the ISPS Radio Podcast channel. Call the show at 347-637-3978 and talk sports and health topics with Dr. Ray, plus slow pitch softball from around the world with Manuel T. Ferrero III, fantasy sports, special guests, and more. Call the show now on the special guest call-in hotline at 347-637-3978. Now, bring your A game, because you're about to experience the Hot Corner.
Alrighty, welcome in everybody. How we doing tonight? It's your host here, Dr. Ray, the softball playing chiropractor, wishing everybody out there a very happy hump day. Hope everybody's doing well. You know, it's always one of my biggest pleasures, and I know our co-host Manny's biggest pleasure to be here just with you guys on the air here. And again, we want you guys to be a part of the show here. So tonight on the Hot Corner, we got a lot going on. We've got a couple guests as usual. We've got Jeff Kurt with us from LEFTY Swag Bats. So you guys are going to hear all about that. Got a cool shirt today as well from them. Big shout out. I am sometimes ambidextrous with some things, so I have a little bit of lefty swag as well too. So we'll talk about that a little bit later with Jeff. And we also are going to talk tonight about, our health topic is actually going to be about Hippocrates Health Institute. And for you guys who haven't heard of that before, it's a place where people can go when they've been diagnosed with things like stage 4 cancer and there's no medical treatment and so on and so forth. And for people who really just want to learn what it takes to be truly healthy. I always thought I was a really healthy guy, you know, chiropractor, I work out, I eat right, this and that. Boy, there were so many things that I still could do to be even healthier. So we're going to talk about all that a little bit later when we get to our health topic. And we've got a lot to cover in the world of sports as well, too. So we're going to be talking all that tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about what's been going on. And, again, we're going to spend a lot of time tonight on that Hippocrates Health Institute, my experience up there, and how that translates into healthcare and what might actually be the future of medicine. So we're going to get a lot of that tonight. And then, of course, we got some Dolphins to talk after we played the Patriots. And I saw a really funny meme that we'll talk about a little bit later as well, too, about Dolphins fans, how we were preseason, how we were after, you know, the first few games, and then after we fired Philbin and we won a couple games, and then after we played the Patriots. So there's been a lot of up and down emotions. It's been a roller coaster ride, and we're going to talk about that tonight. But as we get going through the show here, I want to go ahead and introduce our co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the man who makes it all possible, the commissioner of ISPS himself, Mr. Manuel T. Ferrero III. Manny, how are you tonight?
Hey, Dr. Ray, how are you, man? Good. Well, let me tell you, first and foremost, to all of our listeners out there, I want to be the first one to thank Dr. Ray for seeing me today at his office, man. I feel great, Dr. Ray. Thank you for fixing my back, man. I have been hurting for maybe about a couple months, man, since I don't know what I did. I have no idea what I did, but thank you, Dr. Ray. You fixed my back, man. I really appreciate that, brother. But nothing.
Hey, no problem.
Another Wednesday. You know, Wednesdays are my favorite days, as far as career-wise and work-wise, because I get to hang out here at least for an hour and just shoot the you know what for a bit with my friend Dr. Ray and our special guest. And dude, who doesn't like free stuff? So today we have some free stuff for our listeners from LEFTY Swag. Jeff, thank you, Jeff Kurtz, over there from LEFTY Swag. But nothing much, Dr. Ray. How about you, man? I know you were out of town last week. We didn't do the show. We replayed a show from one of our previous ones. So how you been?
Man, I've been awesome. I can't wait to get into it. I'll save it for when we start talking about the health topic tonight because I'm telling you, I'm always saying, hey, Manny, are you sure you want to eat that? Manny, are you sure this and that? And that's only when we hang out every once in a while. And, being healthy has so many different levels to it. And you guys are going to hear about all the crazy stuff that you can do to really be as healthy as you possibly can. And, for some people, it's a life and death situation. It's actually really a life and death situation for all of us. It's just sometimes it's, more apparent for some of us. And sometimes, we have a little bit of leeway. And we're going to talk about some of those factors and those things. But, man, I literally, every time people ask me, how are you? I always say, never better. But literally, I've never been better than I am right now. I feel so great after this whole experience that I had. And I can't wait to share that with you guys. So we're going to go ahead and do that in a little bit. But before we do that, we do want to get to our first guest. And also we want to thank Jen Holt from We Are Warpaint for the previous show and the replay that we did last week. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to get right to our first guest, Mr. Jeff Kurt from Lefty Swag Bats. So if you guys are listening, get ready because we're going to be giving away some free stuff here. So you guys want to listen in and pay attention, all right? So let's go ahead and take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be right back with Jeff Kurt from Lefty Swag Bats.
Listen to the Hot Corner Show every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the ISPS Radio Podcast channel. Call the show at 347-637-3978 and talk sports and health topics with Dr. Ray. Plus, slow pitch softball from around the world with Manuel T. Ferrero III, fantasy sports, special guests, and more. Call the show now on the special guest call-in hotline at 347-637-3978. Now, bring your A game, because you're about to experience the Hot Corner.
All right, and we are back after that quick break, and we are here with our first guest of the night, Mr. Jeff Kurt. Jeff, how are you doing tonight, sir? Are you with us there?
Yeah, I'm good. How you guys doing?
Jeff, you always have to wait for the applause on this show, so just so you know. But
all right, my bad.
No worries, man. It gets me all the time too. So just want to welcome you into the show here tonight, and let's go ahead and let's start off by having you just tell us and all our listeners out there a little bit about you and Lefty Swag Bats, just real quick, and then we have a couple more questions for you.
Well, Lefty Swag Bats is just working on your bat speed training, making you hit the ball harder, making you hit the ball further, tougher for you to make out, essentially. I'm just a regular slow pitch softball player now, former baseball player in high school, but I was looking for an edge, and I found this little tidbit in the golf world where you're using a light bat and a heavy bat and combine the two with some swing routines, and it's going to increase your bat speed.
Jeff, this is Manny over here. And first and foremost, thank you for the swag gifts that you sent us to me and Dr. Ray. We really appreciate that, and they look really cool.
Welcome.
Even I'm not left-handed. I know Dr. saying that he's ambidextrous. I highly doubt that. But what is it that you do over there at Lefty Swag? Are you the actual creator / president, or what are your responsibilities over there?
Yeah, I'd say creator / president. Fairly new. Just started everything really in April, so it's just getting going. Now it's starting to get a little busier since people aren't actually playing a whole lot of baseball and softball now. It's more of the off season, so it's more of a focus on training now, which is really nice.
All right, so all this training, and I know you said that you kind of, it was like a personal problem. Well, not necessarily a problem, but a personal kind of goal and ambition that got you to kind of bring Lefty Swag Bats to the market. But how long have you been working with this now? How long have you guys been around, and what kind of successes have you been seeing?
Well, we just started getting into the lightweight and heavy training in April. I'd say for a year or so before that, we were trying to do heavy bats, just your typical weighted bats that you'd see in the on-deck circle for loosening up like that, and that didn't seem to be going anywhere. So then we started looking into the training aspect of it, and we've seen a lot more success doing that.
How exactly, how does this work? Explain to our listeners out there, how does this improve your bat speed? How does it work? What's the actual science behind it?
Well, you use a lightweight bat, which we like to call underload bats, and a heavy bat, which we like to call overload bats, and it's a dry swinging routine that you would use. You use muscle memory to kind of learn the strike zone at the same time. And with those lightweight bats, it focuses on your fast twitch muscles, so you're swinging that a lot quicker, and that is going to help you with your hand quickness and lead to your eventual bat speed. Then when you complement that with the heavy bat, that heavy bat focuses more on your strength and control of your swing, just so your swing is just more complete. You're getting an all-around better swing, strength-wise and speed-wise.
Oh man, that sounds like a pretty good program, and I see how that makes sense kind of neurologically, and just to kind of help people understand a little bit. It's kind of one of those things like, have you ever gone to pick up a box and you thought the box was really heavy or was full, and all of a sudden you picked it up and it was empty and you like almost hit yourself in the face with it? That kind of is your mind preparing for a certain amount of weight and your body preparing for it as well too, and then it's not there and you see what you can do with it. So training with different types of weights I think is excellent, but my question for you is, you train with a heavy bat, you train with a lighter bat, so that's two different bats that you're going to be swinging, and then you're not going to be using one of these bats during the game. So that's going to be a whole other bat that you're using. So what's your take? And I know you use it personally. Have you noticed? I kind of like to use the same bat all the time when I'm training, when I'm playing, so on and so forth. But then again, I haven't done a program like this, so. Do you see, kind of that difference? Can you feel that difference between the bats with your grip and so on and so forth and the knobs? And do you try to get those customized to the bat that you usually swing, or can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I can. And actually, in the last step of our program, you do use your own bats. I didn't mention that before if you want to, or you can get a bat custom made to your game weighted bat if you want to use one of ours. So you can get the feel for your bat at the same time while using our bats, but really they're about the same. The handle width-wise is about the same, and the knob-wise we just took about an average for each to get it close to what we might think, the average user might have for a bat, and we go from there. And I haven't had any problems, going from my training bats to a game bat. It doesn't really matter. Pretty much the same feel.
Jeff, I was checking this out. This makes total sense, Dr. Ray. And now that you say you always use the same bat, that makes no sense to me whatsoever, Dr. Ray. You should listen to Jeff. But Jeff, what different sizes bats do you offer?
Well, what we recommend is what we offer in our bat speed packs. For the slow pitch version, is our underload bat is 22 ounces, and the overload bat is 36 ounces, and that's roughly, those two numbers are roughly 20 to 30% lighter and heavier than your average game bat. So that's our wheelhouse right there, what we want our bats to be in if you're doing the lightweight and heavyweight training. But we do offer some heavier bats in stock sizes for the people who still like to swing that heavy bat in the on-deck circle. They're 47 ounces, 54 ounces, and 69 ounces. And all our bats unscrew and screw together. So it's pretty easy to change the weight of each bat if you would like to do that. And just really cut down on how many bats you have when you can have one handle and a couple different barrels. It makes it a little easier to store in your bag when you have all your other game bats and gloves, shoes, whatnot in your bag. Just easier storage.
All right, man. That's awesome that you can kind of it's almost kind of like traveling with a pool cue, like you kind of just twist it apart and, that type of thing. That's great, especially since it's for training purposes. You can take it with you all the time. And, this might actually be something good for me to take to the softball fields because, Manny, I try to, like, if I'm taking BP, I want to hit with the bat that I normally hit with because I want to feel the bat and so on and so forth. But when I'm in the on-deck circle, I actually start with a weight that has kind of a weight in the middle of it that you screw up and down to make it, end loaded or balanced or that type of thing. And, I swing that. I do some squats with it first, and then I kind of do like a windmill thing behind my back, and then I just kind of loosen up with it side to side. And then I actually grab a 34-ounce ISPS wood bat and swing that a few times. And then I grab, the bat that I'm going to use, and I go up to bat with that. So I do use a couple bats just before I go. So, my bag is actually packed right now with a weight bat, with a wood bat, with another bat. So, Jeff, you might have a customer, man. I got to take a look at what's going on here. And my biggest question is, do I have to be lefty?
No, you do not have to be lefty. And, oh, man, my friends, let me tell you, I've given me a hard time about that one, but that's about it. They always give me I'm right-handed. Will this work for me? And, yes, the bats will work for our right-handed friends out there, so it's all good.
Jeff, you don't actually hit.
Glad to hear that.
You don't actually hit with this, right? This is just on deck, just swinging the bat, correct?
Yeah, it's just a dry swinging program. But what I recommend to do for just improving hand-eye coordination is using the game-weighted bat. It's an inch diameter bat, and using the little golf ball size wiffle balls for soft toss drills. So that's really going to focus on improving your hand-eye coordination. It gets a little tricky at times depending on which drills you're doing.
Now, what about kids, man?
That's a great question.
Yeah, what about kids? What sizes and weights should they use, or do you recommend they use lefty swag bats? And that's right, man. Why did you call it lefty swag if there's people that could use it both ways?
Well, myself, I'm left-handed, so and play a game with a little bit of swagger, so that's where it kind of stemmed from. But really, when it gets down to it, it's really about embracing your swag and having confidence at the plate, knowing, you step up there and you're going to get a hit.
Well, Jeff, let me ask you a quick question. I love the inspiration for the name. I think it's a great name. It's definitely a catchy one. But who do you think actually invented swag?
Man, who do I think invented swag? Well, at times I'd like to think I do, but man, I don't really have a good answer for you on that one.
All right, Manny, who do you think invented swag? Oh, Manny's thinking hard on this one.
I'm sorry, I was on the screening room. What were you saying, Dr. Ray? I wasn't even listening to. I know you were talking something about the swag and who invented it. You know who invented it, Dr. Ray. Don't start with these dumb questions because you know
who invented swag. Who was it, Manny?
I think I hear the U reference coming here.
David, Florida.
The U supposedly invented swag. Supposedly, but I'll tell you who really invented swag. Are you ready? I'm gonna knock your socks off with this one. It was the nature boy himself, Ric Flair, who invented swag.
I can't argue that one.
Listen, that's the only alternative I came up with, because I wish I could say that the Seminoles invented swag, but actually the U does, and I can agree with it, man. The team that they had in the back, in those days, they definitely had some swag. And Jeff, I like how you came out. I think one of the biggest things one of the biggest components of swag is confidence. And Jeff, having that self-confidence, saying, man, I invented swag, I think that's awesome, man. And I think that's why you picked such a good name. So congratulations on what you've done so far. Keep doing it. Keep following your passion. Any way we can help you out here, just let us know. And at the same time, why don't you go ahead and just tell everybody now, where can they look at purchasing these bats? Where can they go online? And, a lot of this stuff sounds like it's custom. So, what's the process there for our listeners?
All right, thanks a bunch for having me on first off. And, you can get our stuff on our website. That's leftyswagbats.com. And soon you can find the bats on your website, of course. They should be up and running shortly. I just got to, take some more pictures of those bats and send them your way, and they'll be up after that. But as for customization, you can go on the website. My email's on there. We can talk what you think your bats should look like, what kind of logos you want on there, your name, your number. The customization on the knobs really doesn't end. Plus, we've got, thousands of color combinations with all the different handle and knob and cap color combinations you can think of.
All right, man, that's awesome. Well, again, thanks for joining us here. And anytime, for all you guys out there listening, we definitely want to get you guys involved. And Jeff, were you talking about giving away some shirts or something today to some of our listeners at all?
Yeah, absolutely. So the listeners to the show, what I want to hear is their best bat flip story. So they can tweet using the hashtag LeftySwagBats. And I'll pick, three at the minimum, maybe 5 if there are a bunch of good ones I just can't pass up. So use the hashtag LeftySwagBats with your best bat flip story, and I'll pick some winners tonight. And video evidence is encouraged if possible, because I just love seeing a good bat flip.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. I like it, man. That's a great way to just get the tweets going, man. I'm excited to see what some people say. We're gonna put that out on some social media right now and have our listeners go ahead and tweet. And then Jeff, you got to let us know, who you end up picking for that. And we'll announce the winners on the show next week as well too. So Jeff, thanks a lot for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you on here. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next topic, which is going to be ISPS news and upcoming tournaments right after this quick break.
All right, thank you guys.
Listen in to Dr. Ray and Manuel T. Ferrero III each and every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the International Slow Pitch Softball Radio Podcast channel at ISPSradio.com.
All right, Dr. Ray, and thank you, Jeff Kirk from Lefty's Flag Bats for coming on the show tonight. Dr. Ray, pretty much this is our hell week over here at ISPS Softball. Our World Championships is this weekend in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, over there at Mills Pond Softball Complex. At the Mills Pond Softball Complex, the beautiful Mills Pond Softball Complex over there at Fort Lauderdale. Check us out at ISPSworld.com. The men's bronze and men's silver division game times, start times are already out there. So you can check it out. You can check out which your favorite team is going to be out there, what time they start. We start on Friday night. I want to give thanks to 3 and 2 Sports, also Clutch Brand, also Reebok /Adidas /Dudley Sports. They'll all be there, as well as Mike Larson. Mike Larson will be out there relacing, regloving the gloves out there for you guys. We will have a home run derby on Friday night starting at 7 p.m. and games start at 8 p.m. We'll have all the vendors out there. We'll have concessions. We'll have everything out there. And check it out, ISPSworld.com. It's this weekend again at Fort Lauderdale, Florida at Mills Pond Softball Complex. And that's pretty much it, Dr. Ray, for me here on the ISPS News. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. And thank you again, Jeff, for the pretty cool shirts, man. Really cool, man. Fortunately, man, I don't know. I feel weird wearing a lefty swag shirt when I'm righty. I'm walking around throwing the ball with my right hand. They're going to make fun of me.
Well, man, that's why you got to practice with the left. And actually, earlier when I said that I'm ambidextrous,
you sound like a dirty old man, Dr. Ray. You sound like a dirty old man. You got to practice with the left.
You gotta practice with the left, man. Look, actually, it's a funny story of how it happened because I was in middle school and I was trying out for the basketball team, and the coach was like, "All right, I want you to dribble behind your back, left-handed, and then take a jump shot from the free throw line." So I couldn't dribble with my left hand. I couldn't do anything with my left hand. So I said, "All right, forget it. I'm just going to do like a spin," and I got so kind of confuzzled with everything that was going on and I think I just made up a word, that I just did a spin, and then I went and I did a layup instead of doing a shot. So right there, the coach was like, "Listen, you can't follow directions, you're cut." And I was like, "What?" You know, I had too much ego for that. So I went home, and I literally tied my – listen, I literally tied my right hand behind my back, and I practiced with nothing but my left hand. And thank God that happened. Everything happens for a reason, because now when I play pickup basketball, I'm the shortest guy on the court. I'm only 5'6".
Yeah,
so when I go out there, I'm usually the last pick, you know, but it's fine with me because then they put me on somebody who generally isn't, that good. And, it's really my time to shine, baby, because now I take it to the dish. I take it to the dish and I'm all lefty on everybody. And they're like, "Oh, my God, this guy's a left hand. This guy's a left hand." And it's a big deal, man. So, it worked out. So lefty swag is what it's all about. For you guys out there, again, tweet us with the hashtag LeftySwagBats and best bat flip, all right? And if you got a video of it, send us your best bat flip. And listen, I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. No cheating and pulling up Joey Bat's most recent bat flip, the most famous bat flip of all. No, nobody better send that one in. I want to see some creativity, and I want to see what's going on, and excited to see that. And then you guys, the best 5 or 3 or 5, we'll get some shirts over from Jeff and Lefty Swag Bat. So thanks again. But Manny, let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit of health, unless you want to make fun of me a little bit more for being ambidextrous.
Listen, Dr. Ray, your coach, I'm sorry to be the first to let you know, but your coach, he lied to you, because if you would have been 6 foot whatever and you still don't follow directions correctly, he would work with 6 foot, and can't teach that, right? You can't teach that.
You can't teach height.
Yeah, you can't teach height.
You can't teach height, but Manny, what you don't know is that I've been the same size since middle school, which is 5'6", like 215. So I've been the same. I was bigger than everybody else in middle school. So I had it back then. It was just honestly, literally, I couldn't do anything with my left hand. It was pathetic. So that's why I practiced so hard with it.
You peaked in middle school, Dr. Ray? Are you serious?
I mean, I think I've done some pretty good things since middle school, but I've been the same size since then. So, call it what you want to call it. But anyway, let's go ahead and let's keep it moving here. We got a lot to get to still. We got to talk fantasy football. We got to talk Heat. We got to talk a whole bunch of stuff now. Actually, leading into the health intro, why don't we go ahead and talk a little bit about the Heat? Manny, did you hear about what happened today with Gerald Green by any chance?
No, I did not. What happened? I heard something happened. He was in the hospital, but dude, this is hell week for me, man. We've been so busy with game brackets, everything for Worlds. We got a lot of teams, Dr. Ray. It's going to be a 3-day weekend for us, pretty much.
That's true. I understand, man. But listen, let's get you the news, man. So apparently he was at his Miami condominium, which is right across the street from American Airlines, the Marquee, and he was just screaming at the top of his lungs. There's no reports as to what it's been, what he was screaming about or what was going on, or there's no tox reports. There's nothing like that. apparently Mario Chalmers was there as well too and rode with him in the ambulance, but at 10 in the morning, he had to be restrained, and apparently it took about 7 people to get him on the stretcher before the ambulance took him. And he's currently being treated at Jackson. We don't know for what right now. But the Heat have released a statement basically saying that this morning we were informed that Gerald Green was admitted to the hospital. Right now our concerns with Gerald, and we have no further comment at this time. So the Heat don't know what's going on, or they haven't said that they do yet at this point. There's no reports really. When I first heard about this, I was like, Flocka. That's the first thing that I saw. But again, why would an NBA player be messing around with Flocka? But again, it wouldn't surprise me. But anyway, what's your take on that, Manny? When this is kind of the first time you're hearing the news.
That's very funny to me, bro, because let me tell you something. Our headquarters is right across the street. Not directly across the street, but maybe a block north across the street of AAA Arena. The other night, me and my wife were going to the Mark Anthony concert, and my friend, very good friend, I believe you know him as well, Jimmy Rodriguez from City of Miami Police. Actually, I shouldn't have said his name on air, but anyway, we'll omit that later. Jimmy, well, my friend, he was there for a dead person who just passed away right there in front of AAA Arena. He went to Subway. He looked like a healthy, maybe 40-something-year-old male. He went into Subway. He got a sandwich. He went outside. I guess he was feeling kind of sick or something. He sat down and he just passed away right there. And that was in the same area. That's kind of strange that you're telling me that happened in that same vicinity. That's about a block away from what you're talking about.
Yeah, man, it's a pretty crazy, situation going on downtown. So who knows what's going on? But I mean, it does kind of lead into the whole health talk, and that's really what I've been wanting to get to, because I just had a pretty amazing experience. I went with my fiance, who's also a chiropractor, and we participated in this program called Doctor Days at the Hippocrates Health Institute in West Palm Beach. And for you guys who don't know what that is, basically, Hippocrates is a place that's been around for a very long time now, I think since the 50s. There was a woman called Ann Wigmore who was basically, told by her doctors that she had, 6 months to live, and that she couldn't, she was done for. She had cancer, stage 4, and that was it. And this lady just, was like, no, I'm not going to accept that. There's got to be something I can do. And they told her, listen, you're too sick even to get chemotherapy. And so she basically just started doing all these things. And I guess it's kind of what has turned into the Hippocrates Health Institute now. But really what she did was she started drinking wheatgrass regularly. She started eating raw, organic, vegan food. She started focusing on things like meditation and just thinking and believing that her body was healing and getting rid of cancer, every day, and so on and so forth. And what it has evolved to now, and by the way, she survived for many years, and she opened this place, and she opened up another one on the West Coast, and she is actually, apparently, from what the current director of this place said, was an extremely unintelligent woman. She just really had a passion and a purpose for what she was doing, and so it was so contagious that people just really helped her around her, and now she's kind of known for that. So look up Ann Wigmore, and you can read more about her story. But what it's done is it's evolved into this place called Hippocrates Health Institute, and it's in West Palm Beach. It's a very nice area. You drive up to it. There's a gate to get in, and there's little villas that are right there. And, you're just, all of a sudden there's a huge lake and fountains and beautiful, waterfalls everywhere. And there's art, like every 5 steps you take, there's like another piece of art And I took a bunch of pictures of all the different, there was little, just little things. I was walking, I saw a rock, and I thought it was just a rock, and it was actually a woman holding her son. I mean, it was just an amazing thing. So the place is beautiful itself. Manny, you had a question?
Yeah, I got a few questions. Number one, did you drink any Kool-Aid? Did you have to wear any sneakers, preferably Nike or Adidas? Did you have to sleep in bunk beds?
All right, so let me tell you exactly what you had to do. Didn't have to do any of those things. And again, you can kind of, depending on what your definition of a cult is, it may be something like that. But this is something that if you need to, okay, this is something that could potentially save your life. And it has done that for thousands of people. Literally thousands of people have come to this place with diseases like stage 4 cancer, where the medical doctors literally told them there's nothing we can do. We can't even do chemo for you right now. And they've survived, and they've done very well. And they've thrived in life. And they just made a lot of changes because their life was that important to them. Now, there's some people that I even know personally that would say, you know what, that's not for me. I'd rather die with a cheeseburger in my mouth or whatever the case is. And, and some people are just happy like that, and that's okay. It's not for everybody. But for the people that want to know about it, for the people that are health conscious, for the people that would like to continue to live and not just live but thrive and feel good and have, a zest for life and have passion and purpose and, and those things, there's a way to do that. And we get run down by the grind a lot, and that's what had happened to me. I was like, man, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to this, that, it's tough running a business, and it's stressful, and, this and that, and, you stop working out, and all of a sudden you start just bad sleeping habits, and it's easy to fall into a bad lifestyle, or not necessarily a bad one. We can't call it a bad one because you're not doing anything bad, but an unhealthy lifestyle. And that's where I was at, and I realized, man, I really have not been taking care of myself the way I should, and the way that I tell people to when they come in with disease. Go ahead, Manny.
Now, back to what you were saying, and I was just joking around with the call. That was something we were messing around with today at your office. But, I like to pull your leg every day, Dr. Ray. What's wrong with you? But anyways, no, but back to what you were talking about right there, about I don't think it's crazy. And I think it has to go back to some of our previous shows that you've spoken about this before. $4 at Wendy's could get you a burger, some nuggets, fries, and a Coke. That's a freaking big meal, man, right there for $4. What is $4 going to get you at a grocery store or at an organic place? Not much, man, not much. And like I mentioned to you earlier today, a single mother or somebody that's trying to feed, maybe 2 or 3, maybe even 4 other heads in the household, it's a lot more economical, or that they could afford for them to go to McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever, one of these fast food joints that are full of crap, instead of going and eating healthy. It's just they can't afford it sometimes. The healthy lifestyle is more expensive than what they're offering out there to those, I guess, middle class or lower middle class people.
Well, I'll tell you what, Manny, there's always that, the finances and those types of things. But here's the thing. If you spend a little bit more money on eating healthier, you can spend a lot less money on doctor's visits, on injuries, on being sick, on less productivity. You can get more done in the same amount of time, so you can actually make more money. There's a lot of benefits that go into it, and it's an investment in yourself, which I think is probably the best investment that you can make. And obviously there's some people that can't do it. I mean, without a doubt, this is not for everybody. But for the people that want to be better, feel better, live better, it's a possibility. And as a matter of fact, what they do here is they actually grow everything themselves right there. And so you're going to see a little bit about that. They sell all the kits to do everything, to grow your own sprouts, to grow your own wheatgrass, to do everything that you need. And you know, it's really not actually that expensive eating a raw vegan diet, because vegetables aren't that expensive. You know, it's really not that bad, but we got a call, text, or tweet. So let's see what we got going on, Manny. Who's chiming in?
Actually, on Twitter, we got a bunch of people liking and favoring some stuff, but particularly somebody from the Philippines, Dr. Ray. Shout out to the Philippines, Angelica Garcia at OheyJecca03 on Twitter. She wants some of those freebies, but she's from the Philippines. So, Dr. Ray, remind her again what does she have to do and what does she have to tag?
All right, so we need to hashtag Lefty Swag Bats, and from there, what you have to do is, if you have a video of it, you can post the video, try to find the video and post it up there, but if not, that's okay too. And just tell us what your favorite bat flip was. Again, your favorite bat flip. So bat flip is when, in baseball, guy hits a home run and just does something crazy with the bat. The biggest one that everybody remembers is Joey Bats a couple weeks ago from the Toronto Blue Jays, hitting a home run that really, I don't remember if it tied the game or if it gave him the lead, but it was a monster shot, and it was at the Rogers Center in Toronto. So it was, you know, just an amazing play, and he just flipped the bat one-handed all the way over to the side after standing there admiring his work. So it definitely drew a lot of attention. And so now you guys want to come up with the best bat flip. I can think of a bunch. I remember Sammy Sosa doing bat flips, Barry Bonds doing bat flips, so many guys doing bat flips. So go ahead and tweet the best ones that you guys can think of. And the top three, and maybe the top five, if there's some really good ones, we'll get some shirts from Jeff Kurt over there and Lefty Swag Bats. So that's what you got to do in order to participate, all righty? So thanks for chiming in again, all the way from the Philippines. Awesome to hear that. That shipping might be a little bit expensive, Jeff, but we'll see if we get you guys connected anyway. So
hey, that's awesome. That's awesome, man.
Getting back to it, though, hey, it better be a good bat flip, right? So, all right, so getting back to it a little bit, at Hippocrates, I just want to run through what exactly it was that we did, right? So you wake up in the morning, and there's yoga classes or meditation classes. You can do massages, whatever the case is. So once a week, if you're a guest here, you get some sort of a complimentary spa procedure done. So you can get, there's a crystal bed that has a speaker underneath it that's a water bed. It's a crystal therapy bed. It's a water bed that has a speaker under it, and they play like alpha and beta waves, and you feel the vibrations throughout your whole entire body. So it works with your body's frequencies, and we're all electric. So part of this is trying to balance our frequency with the Earth's frequency as well too. And so it's very grounding. But you almost fall asleep on the table. They have lights that they shine through crystals, and they affect the different chakras, and also that you feel the table there vibrating under you. So that was a really cool one. And then they have a couple other pulse electric machines. They've got vibrating plates that stimulate your body's lymphatic system, and they also work on bone strength for the elderly, so they're really good for people who have osteoporosis. And actually, you can lose weight just by standing on this vibrating plate, because it's working with your muscles' reflexes, and you're burning calories just by sitting there and vibrating. So, you know, it's pretty cool. It's like you're exercising by just kind of chilling on a vibrating plate. So these are some of the things that you can do in addition to all kinds of different massages. So there's – go ahead, Manny.
Sorry, Dr. Ray. I'm looking at them on Twitter. They're Hippocrates Health or at Hippocrates Institute or INST at Hippocrates Inst on Twitter. Are they in West Palm Beach?
Yes, they are.
Okay. HippocratesInstitute.org, man. This is pretty cool, bro. Really nice. So it's kind of like a getaway retreat, maybe like a couples. You went with your wife?
It's not even necessarily for couples. It's a place where people go, again, and there's programs that you go on to, and it either teaches you how to be as healthy as you can, or it helps you recover from disease. And again,
Dr. Ray, is this
what's that?
Is this like a nudist colony, Dr. Ray?
No, man, not at all. It's really like, it's amazing. Like some of the people there, there was a guy. This is just some of the things that I saw when I was there. Every Friday they have a graduation because it's a 3-week program. So people go and on the third week on a Friday, they graduate and there's a big party. And basically, you know, and when I say party, I don't mean like there's Bud Lights and hors d'oeuvres. Like you get a full vegan raw meal and, you know, everybody goes over to the pool and just hangs out. All the pools are salt water. And in addition to that, basically there's a mineral pool which is like identical to the Dead Sea, which is very similar to the body's natural balance, and it helps to kind of tonify your cells and all that. So people who are dehydrated and people who have kidney issues, it's great for them, and skin issues as well. And then there's this thing called the cold plunge, which is awesome. You actually get in the jacuzzi for 10 to 15 minutes, and then they have a cold pool right next to it. And so you want to jump into the cold pool and then jump back into the jacuzzi, and jump back into the cold pool and jump back into the jacuzzi. And it just completely confuses and works your nervous system. And so it's like you feel amazing after doing that. And, you know, you guys can get a little taste of it if you want when you take a hot shower in the morning. When you take a hot shower in the morning, we're going to get to that chime real quick. Hang on one second. Leave the water really hot, and then when you're done, just pick that thing up and make it as cold as it can possibly get, and see how long you can last in there. My record right now is 37 seconds, but let's see what you guys got. Let's go ahead and let's get to this text, tweet, or call. Manny, what's going on?
Well, so you wait a minute. How cold, before we get to this call? How cold was it?
All right. So what you want to do is you want to take a hot shower, and then when you finish taking the hot shower, before you turn the water off and before you get out, make the water as cold as it can possibly get, and then see if you can last up to a minute, and then see how you feel afterward. Man, I've been starting every day. I haven't needed coffee. I've been feeling great. So check that out. Go ahead and try that. And if anybody tries it, see if you can beat 37 seconds. And if you can beat 37 seconds, I got a free Frontier shirt to give to you as well, too. So whoever tweets me the best story about their cold shower experience and the cold plunge experience, you got to take a hot shower for at least 10 minutes and then make that water as cold as you can, and you got to try to last for more than a minute. And I want you to tell me about your experience afterward and what you felt and how many times you had to yell. So go ahead and let me know. And whoever gives me the best one will get a free I Changed Someone's Life Frontier Spine and Healthcare T-shirt. And we'll tweet some pictures of that and the Lefty Swag badge shirts as well, too, that you guys could win tonight. So that will be a great one. Manny, what do you think? Can you do that?
No, Dr. Ray. That's what they do to mental patients in mental hospitals, man. What's wrong with you, Dr. Ray?
Give it a try, man. Don't knock it till you try it. I'm telling you, it's refreshing, man. It feels awesome.
Let me tell you, I do that, but I don't go to that extreme. You know, once I finish my nice warm shower, I gradually, go to the colder. I push it over a little bit to the cold. I regulate my body, then I get it a little bit colder. Then I regulate my body. Then every few seconds I get it colder until I can resist, and then that's it. I jump out. It's just that sometimes, especially after I work out or I go for a run, even after you take a shower, you don't stop sweating. Your body doesn't stop sweating, man. So, like, even when you get out of the shower, you still feel like you're sweating, like you're icky, and it's I know that sweat is all toxins and stuff like that, so I like to make my body freeze, close up its pores, and regulate its body temperature, or decrease my body temperature, as a matter of fact.
Well, I'm telling you, you got to try it, man. Give it a shot, and then let me know what you feel. And if you want, I'll even enter you in the contest. And if you have a good story about what happened with your cold plunge, then it might even hook you up with a shirt as well too. So we'll see what's going on there. But anyway, just to sum up the whole Hippocrates thing, I wanted to just let you guys know there's all these alternative ways that you can get healthy. And the biggest take home here is that medicine is never really going to heal you. There's nothing that, in emergency situations, medicine is invaluable. It will save your life 100%. But what medicine does is it keeps you from dying. In all honesty, it doesn't help you live better, feel better, anything like that. It just allows a problem to keep happening. And most of the diseases that we have are preventable by 80%. Think about that. 80% of the diseases that we have, there's some things that require medicine, but 80% of them can be prevented just by living a healthier lifestyle. So, what I took away from this was I'm not going to do everything that they do at Hippocrates, but I'm going to try to do as much of it as I possibly can. So I'm looking at growing some sprouts and getting some sprouter kits, thinking about maybe growing some of my own wheatgrass and that kind of stuff, because it does help just feel so good, and it's like the perfect amount of vitamins and minerals. And it's just, I felt so good when I was here as well too. So, I want you guys to experience some of the same things. So check out Hippocrates. And again, if you end up ever one day having a family member, in that type of a situation where they really need to make a change, think about it. It's always an option. So I do want to get a little bit of fantasy talk, a little bit of football talk in here. So, Manny, why don't we go ahead and switch gears to that? Do you want to take a quick break real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit of football?
Yeah, let's actually, you want to take this call that's on hold, or you want to go to a commercial break and then come back with the call?
Let's take the call right now. Who do we got? What's going on?
All right, let's, and not only that, but I also want to play the Dwork intro and outro to commemorate David Dwork. He's out on a cruise, but we're still going to mention him and give him a shout out. But let's go to this call. Go ahead, Dr. Ray. He's there live.
Hey, Manny.
All right.
Hello?
Manny, you hear him there? Hello?
Yes, hello, caller. Go ahead. You're live.
Manny, it's Pito. Can you hear me?
Hey, Pito. What's going on, brother?
Not much. I just wanted to call in, give everybody, say hello to everyone. I have Gabe on the line as well. We're excited about this weekend, and we just want to let everyone know that, everything is set. We're working on who's playing who tonight based on the point system, and just want to give everybody a heads up that game time is out, and it's going to be a great event.
Thank you guys for calling in. Are you guys calling in for the free stuff?
Yeah. Lefty swag.
Dr. Ray, remind them what they gotta do. What do they gotta say?
All right. So what you want to do is go ahead and just tweet with the hashtag Lefty Swag, and you got to give us your best bat flip story. All right. And if it's a good bat flip story, then Jeff Kirk from Lefty Swag Bats may go ahead and hit you up and send you one of his shirts that are pretty damn good, actually. I think I'm going to wear it to the gym after the show here tonight and break it in a little bit. It looks like it's a comfy one.
I will definitely tweet it real quick. My bat flip story, I bat flip after I hit a home run, and it happens to hit Manny right in the head. Doesn't get better than that.
Oh, that wins, man. Give that guy a shirt.
Love it. Now, guys, who do you guys think is going to take it all this weekend at Worlds?
Man, there's a lot of great teams out there, and it's tough to say. The playing field is a lot even. We moved up the teams that were too strong to play in the bronze division, and they're playing where they're supposed to. If there's one team I would definitely love to see win it, is the USSSA champion, US Tech.
Definitely, that's a team I'm definitely rooting for. They definitely deserve it. They've had a tremendous year. They won ISPS states. They won a few other tournaments. They're on a roll, man, and they win by not really by offensive. They do hit, but it's more of their defense that really kills the other teams, man. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely, and their pitcher Ramon, aka Pee Wee, he's a cat up the middle. He plays the 5-man himself as he pitches, so that's a big advantage to them.
Dude, and I don't know if you follow him, but we followed him and we saw the guy is really dedicated, bro. He goes out. He was shooting, pitching, and taking some fielding practice. You don't really see that from other pitchers. They don't really put in the time and the work that Pee Wee does, man.
Correct.
And I think that's what separates everybody, those guys that are willing to put in the time and the work makes it all worthwhile at the end of the day when it comes game time. And that's what Pee Wee shows when he plays the game, and he plays the game the right way. He respects everybody, respects the game, and he does everything possible to make his team, get that extra step or move on to the next game and get that W. And I wish everybody, follows in his footsteps, and at the same time, all the young guys that he has on his team, he's just showing his leadership skills, which is great. But just like Pito was stating, in regards to the playing field, it's going to be very hard to make a judgment call on who's going to take this both in the silver division or the bronze division. It's really a toss-up. I think that there's several teams out there that have a great chance. It really all depends on who comes out to hit, and truly everybody knows that softball's a hitting game, and yeah, the defense helps you, but without hitting, you ain't scoring runs. So.
And Manny, in the bronze division, I'm Team Bahamas all the way.
Team Bahamas, and we also got two teams from Puerto Rico on fire. I believe they're from Caguas and Los Tramposos, dude. You got to be careful with those guys, just with their name. I believe that they're bringing Ramon Castro and Juan Pierre from the former Marlins. I don't know, dude. With that team name, I don't know. We gotta be careful with those guys, Los Tramposos.
I'm gonna stick with Pito with the whole. I have two guys in the silver division. I truly believe that it's going to be a good shot for the U.S. Tech local guys. Knowing Mills Pond and playing on that field, almost 2 weekends a month or a weekend at least a month. And I'm going to go on the limb and go with the VS Deli guys. VS Deli and U.S. Tech as top two silver teams. And don't put Go Hard out of the mix either. They were E-champs last year in ISPS Worlds. And for bronze, I'm gonna say Muffin Stuffers, and maybe two in the pink.
Yes.
And I think those two are the two front runners on my end, what I see. But young kids, young bunch, and I think that they'll do well. It just really all depends on if they hit and they hold their power sticks down, because of course we all has less home runs in the silver division.
I also spoke to a friend of mine who might make an appearance out there to support ISPS, and that's Gio Gonzalez, pitcher for the Nationals. His brother will be playing with Team Muffin Stuffers.
Which is that's actually a great guy. Both brother and Gio actually played against Gio plenty of times, and also in high school. So I hope to see him out there. Haven't seen him in a long time.
That's great, guys. Well, guys, thank you for calling, Dr. Look at the time when we still haven't even gotten into sports. What do you say we cut to the break and then come back to sports?
Hey, the only thing I got to say is anytime you need some help and you got some chiropractic needs, see Dr. Ray.
Thanks, Gabe. Appreciate it, man. Let's go ahead and let's take a quick break, and then we'll be right back talking a little bit of sports for a couple minutes.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. It's sports with the Sports Dork. Live right now on the ISPS Radio Network. With sports news and entertainment for all you dorks out there. Follow him on Twitter at David Dwork. And call the show now at 347-637-3978. And ask the Dwork anything. Nothing's off topic. And now, the Sports Dwarf, David Dwork.
Alrighty, so we're back, and unfortunately we don't have the Dwork with us, but he's out there living it up on a cruise right now. If he's listening in, David, hope you're having a great time. Be safe out there, and don't forget to wash your hands. Be careful out there. Norovirus can happen. It will happen, so wash your hands. But let's go ahead and let's get back to fantasy. Manny, I don't even want to talk fantasy. Man. I'd rather listen to that commercial, quite honestly. I don't know what's going on in the Hot Corner Listener League, man. I'm scoring some points, but I'm not winning the games here. And I'm currently in 8th place, along with let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 other teams. So there's 5 of us at 3 and 5. We got 3 teams now at 6 and 2. Team Tillman has given up the lead. He's lost two times now, and Eichen has actually come up with a win streak of 3, and actually has the most points in the league now at this point. So let's take a look at what the number 1 team looks like in fantasy right now, and that's actually Tyrod Taylor at quarterback, but Andrew Luck is currently on the bench there. So you got Andrew Luck, Tyrod Taylor. Then we've got Odell Beckham Jr., Julian Edelman, Todd Gurley, Mark Ingram, Alan Hearns, Chris Ivory, Brandon LaFell, Malcolm Floyd. So there's a lot of talent on this team right here. And I do like that team. I do see some struggles there with picking the right matchups. He must be picking the right matchups every time. I like that a lot better than my current team right now. I've got 2 pretty good receivers, but my third receiver is just, man, it's tough.
Man, I cannot believe that guy picked up my Tyrod Taylor, man. I had to drop him because he got hurt. I couldn't drop Ben Roethlisberger because he was hurt. So I had to pick up, who was it? Hoyer. And then, and now I lost Tyrod Taylor, bro. Unbelievable, man.
Hey, man, well, hopefully he doesn't do anything this week because he's at the Dolphins. So, maybe we can keep Tyrod Taylor on locks and sack him a few times. That would be great as a Dolphins fan. And for you too, Manny, so you get that retribution, like, I dropped him and he's not good and you got him. So, sometimes you drop a guy and that's it. I mean, in one of my fantasy baseball leagues this year, I picked up Yoenis Cespedes halfway through the season. When I picked him up, I think he hit a home run in like almost every other game that he played. So it was amazing. And the other guy texted me. He was like, oh, my God, I can't believe I dropped that guy right before he went off. And, it's just timing, man. So you never know what's going to happen. So, you had to do what you had to do. There's already a few moves that I regret this year, and that's going with Joseph Randle instead of and not getting Darren McFadden to back him up. Because now McFadden's a starter and Randle doesn't even have a team. So, the running back pool is thin, and I didn't have number 1 waiver order this week, so I didn't get D'Angelo Williams. So, you get stuck. But that's the awesome part about fantasy. Then you got to make a trade. Like I'm in a league where I have the least amount of points, but I'm in 4th place, and I've got the 3rd best record. We're tied. So it's crazy to think about that, but that's the fun of it. That's the luck of it. Not only do you pick the right players, put the right guys in, make that one pickup, and whatever the case is, but do you pick the right lineup, and then what does the guy that you're playing against do? So that's the awesome part. And so far my luck in this league has not been great. I'm getting extremely lucky in another one, and then my other couple leagues I'm in, everything's kind of evened itself out. But it's all kind of square across the board. Manny, is this the only league that you're doing, or are you in a couple other ones, or what's your experience with all your teams so far this year, now that we're kind of towards the halfway point?
Dr. Ray, I'm loyal to my only league in fantasy sports, basically. All sports. I only play on the Hot Corner Listener League because that's where my heart is, Dr. Ray. That's where I put it all on the line right there. Now, Dr. Ray, I got a question for you. Danny Woodhead or Shane Vereen in for Marshawn Lynch, because Marshawn Lynch is going to have his bye week.
That's an easy one. That's Woodhead, especially in a PPR league. Woodhead is a guy that he gets looks. I mean, he's that third down option. He's that check down option. You want to have Woodhead in your lineup. I can tell you that for sure.
Now, Shane Vereen or Lamar Miller?
Definitely, I'm going Lamar Miller on that one. I mean, especially, since Dan Campbell's come back, they've looked better with the play calling. They look better with the runs. And Lamar Miller has been able to execute. I mean, he didn't even play a half, and he had 175 yards a couple games ago. So that's where I'd be going with that, pretty much almost undoubtedly right now at this point.
Yeah. What happened to Keenan Allen?
You know what? I didn't see what actually happened to him. I just noted that I saw something about his kidney, and that he was done for the whole season. So he's on season-ending IR. He's on the injured reserve. And I don't know what's going on with him, but if you got him, you got to drop him. You got to look for the next option, and I think that's Stevie Johnson with Antonio Gates that's still a little bit banged up right now.
Lacerated kidney, bro, ending his season. I'm looking at it right now. It couldn't stop bleeding, bro. He had to go on a surgical procedure on Monday.
I believe it, man. The kidney is one of the most highly vascular organs because it's the filter for your blood. So if your blood isn't getting filtered, you die pretty quickly. So, and there's tons of blood flow. That's actually one of the things that regulates blood pressure. Your kidneys, a lot of times people who have high blood pressure actually are having problems with their kidneys. So in natural medicine, you treat the kidneys instead of giving a pill for high blood pressure, and the blood pressure goes away on its own. So I can see why it would bleed so much. That makes a lot of sense.
Wow, unbelievable, man. Yeah. So I gotta drop him.
Yeah, you gotta drop him. You gotta go. You gotta get that next guy. I think I saw Devontae Adams on the waiver wire. If I was you, Manny, I would probably go and I would pick up Devontae Adams, just because he hasn't done much right now. But he was pretty hyped up, before the season started, and he's been hurt. He's been injured. But I would take a look at probably picking up, somebody like him. I think he could do pretty good. Especially when we're getting kind of the playoff times. He might be a little bit higher of a commodity at that point. So I would look into checking him out. Malcolm Floyd was the next. Malcolm Floyd's going to be the number one receiver there now. But I think that also, as I mentioned, Stevie Johnson could probably take a little bit of pressure off of him on the other side. But either one of those guys could be pretty good this week against the Bears. So take a look at that. And Phillip Rivers has been awesome. So check it out. Who'd you pick up there, man?
Devontae Adams from Green Bay. I got him.
There you go, man. He hasn't done anything. He hasn't done anything yet, but he is going to be that receiver, and maybe they can get that Green Bay offense going a little bit. It's going to be tough this week against Carolina. But
is he playing?
But
that's the question.
Yes,
is he going to play?
Yes, he is playing this week. He is playing this week, but it is kind of a tough matchup with Carolina. Carolina's defense has been excellent, so you gotta be careful with that. It may not be the best matchup of the week, but it is a stash that I think that you want to try to get and keep on your bench there.
I got Pierre Garçon, Marvin Jones, and Amendola right now.
Oh, that's a tough one. Who is you have Marvin Jones, Amendola, and who?
Pierre Garçon. Should I start Devontae over any of those, or just leave Devontae there, just hang out?
Oh man, that's kind of a tough one. Let me see. Tell me who they're all playing.
Amendola is playing Washington. Marvin Jones is playing Cleveland, and Pierre Garçon is playing Yankees.
Well,
and
Davante Adams
the starting percentage higher than all three of them.
Yeah, I would probably stick with Davante Adams just because, he's getting healthier. He finally has kind of a full game under his belt again. They have a whole, week of practice for these guys. They should be ready to go. Those other guys are really boom or bust. Marvin Jones has had either 2 catches or 5 catches with a TD. In one game he went off and had a couple TDs, but it kind of inflates his stats a little bit. So you got to be careful with that. But the other guys too, Pierre Garçon, he could have a lot of garbage time in his matchup. Who knows about that playing the Patriots? They could be behind and throw a lot. Kirk Cousins has been able to get him the ball a little bit, so he could be a good matchup, but he could also be a dud. And who was the other guy?
Marvin Jones or Amendola. Amendola is only projected to get me 5 points. Davante Adams is projected for 12 points.
Yeah, Amendola, he could have a big game, but I'd stick with Adams out of that bunch right there, just because again Amendola, I foresee the Patriots being up kind of from the beginning. Washington's a scrappy team, but I still think I see the Patriots being up, and Amendola is probably not going to get many looks if they're actually ahead in the game. That's when Edelman takes over as a possession receiver. That's when you start to get, the backs just catching balls out of the backfield and getting the linebackers sucked up with play action, and that's really not where you're going to get Amendola in the game. So I would say stay with Davante Adams out of those guys. And for you guys out there, that's a little bit of a breakdown. I would probably rank them Amendola. No, actually, I'd probably put Amendola down on the bottom because I think that the Patriots are going to handle the Redskins pretty well. So from the bottom up, let's go ahead and let's say it's going to be Amendola, and then Marvin Jones, and I would put Davante Adams up on the top there. So there's your breakdown. Again, no way to foresee the future. That's just what I'm thinking right now based on those matchups. So Manny, I would stick with him, and the projections on Yahoo kind of seem to reflect the same thing there. So that's about it, man. Anything else going on? Anything you want to get to before we wrap that show up?
No, man. Pretty much, I was projected to lose. Now I'm projected to win, bro. Let's see what happens. I'm playing Hans. He's in last place, 1-7. So this should be an easy game for me.
All right, my man, that sounds good. Well, listen, good luck with everything this week. Everybody out there, good luck in your matchups. If you guys have any questions, again, about what we spoke about on the show today about Hippocrates, go ahead and let us know. You can tweet me at Dr. Ray T. You can tweet them at Hippocrates Inst, INST. You can always tweet Manny at Manuel T. Ferrero III. Manny, you're going to have to tell me your Twitter handle because I can never remember it. And we also want to thank Jeff Kirk from Lefty Swag at Manuel Ferrero, exactly. And we want to thank Jeff Kirk from Lefty Swag Bats. Of course, guys, don't forget to tweet him your favorite bat flip, the best bat flip you can remember. If you include a video, you probably have a better chance of getting a shirt, just so you know. And again, go ahead and tweet me your best cold shower story after taking a hot one. And we'll go ahead and we'll send you over a Frontier shirt as well, too. So go ahead and participate in that. We want to see those tweets. We're looking forward to it. Hope everybody has a great one out there. Manny, anything you want to shout out about Worlds before we close up?
This weekend, Worlds, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Fort Lauderdale. For more info, go to ispsworlds.com. To the other callers, there was a bunch of callers that we didn't get to, Dr. Ray. I guess they'll listen to the replay. But thanks again to Jeff Kurt from Lefty Swag Bats, and thanks for the shirts. What else? Pretty much that's it, Dr. Ray. Follow us on all the Twitter and all that social media stuff. all that
awesome.
young kids crap.
All of that young kid stuff, all of that whippersnapper. All right, guys. Well, hey, it was a pleasure with you tonight. Again, big thanks to Jeff. We'll look forward to have our sports dork with us next week again so we can have some more fantasy analysis. Oh, Manny, real quick, we got to pick our Thursday night. What's going on?
Who plays? Oh, and Dr. Ray, before I forget, this is our 190th show, Dr. Ray. 190. Just 10 more for the 200.
All right, man. Hey, listen, we got to get something. We got to get something awesome going for that show, Manny. I know that you're planning something big. So 10 more shows, 10 more weeks, man. It's going to be in the new year. I can tell you that. That's going to be awesome. I'm excited for it, man. What do you think? What kind of things do you think we might have planned for that, man?
Dude, I don't know. I want to do a remote location, maybe one of our partners or something like that. We're working on it, Dr. Ray. We're working on it. But who plays tomorrow? I think it's the Browns and the Bengals. I'm going with the Bengals.
Yep. You're going with the Bengals, huh? Well, you know who's starting for the Browns, right?
Don't tell me it's Johnny Football.
Johnny Football. He's starting tomorrow for the Browns. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say that the Browns come in. They surprise them at home in Cincinnati on a Thursday night. Johnny Manziel hitting Travis Benjamin deep. Gary, big play, Gary Barnidge catching touchdowns with his knees. I see it going down tomorrow night. I'm picking the Browns over Cincinnati.
Are you nuts, Dr. Ray? That guy, going to get... I can't wait to see this guy on national TV, man. Just take one. A good one.
Hey, man, listen, it's going to be a great one. So we'll see. We'll finally have a little bit of separation in our guesses. So we'll see what's going on. But all right, everybody, thanks for being with us here tonight on the Hot Corner. Hope you enjoyed your extra 17 minutes and change. And we'll see everybody next week again, Wednesday night, 7 p.m., same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, everybody be well. And make sure that you tell yourself tonight before you go to bed that you're going to make it a great day tomorrow. Everybody take care.
You've just heard the Hot Corner Show on the ISPS Radio Podcast Network with the softball-playing chiropractor and official chiropractor of ISPS, Dr. Ray Tolmos, and Commissioner of International Slow Pitch Softball, Manuel T. Ferrero III. Remember to follow the show and hosts on Twitter and Facebook at ISPSO, at DRRAYT. We hope you enjoyed the show and invite you to listen in to Dr. Ray and Manuel T. Ferrero III each and every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the International Slow Pitch Softball Radio Podcast channel at ISPSradio.com.